Hey guys, so today we're going to be making veggie pizza. It's super delicious and easy to make and super calming and relaxing, especially during the quarantine times. So I'm going to show you every single step. So first we're going to take 3/4 cup of warm water. I usually just microwave it, and we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of sugar and stir it up. Then we'll add in 1 teaspoon of active dry yeast, and you can just let it sit after this and let it bubble around for about 10 minutes, and you'll see it start to bloom. And here was it after like just a few minutes when it started to bubble a little bit. Then I'm going to add in the active dry yeast mixture, and then 2 cups of flour. Now I'm adding 1 teaspoon of salt, and then 1 tablespoon of olive oil. This will help the flavor. This pizza is super good. I really like how the bread turned out, the crust. So now we're going to mix it up. And just stir and get all of the wet ingredients combined with the dry. You'll start to see that your dough is going to start forming. So then you can start to fold the dough. I did it with a spoon here, but you can definitely use your hands. I just started out with a spoon. And then I just start with a kind of folding motion and pressing it down for about 10 minutes. So you can see that the dough is starting to form here. It's looking better. And now I just covered it with a wet paper towel just to help with the moisture. And this dough has been left out for 1 hour and it's doubled in size. So now I'm going to poke the dough and just make sure that it bounces back, which tells me that it's ready. And now I'm going to knead it a little bit more and just keep doing that folding action. This is a really calming and relaxing thing to do, especially during quarantine. I like that my thoughts just stay on the cooking that I'm doing and not on the world events that are going on right now. Now I'm going to be rolling out the dough. I'm just going to kind of make it the size of about 16 inches. Ended up being a little bit smaller, but just as big as you can get it, or as big as you like, to make the crust a little bit thinner and everything spread out. If it gets stuck, if the rolling pin gets stuck to the dough, you can definitely just put a little bit of flour on the base or on the rolling pin itself. And now I'm just going to continue rolling it out. It's starting to come together and look nice and big. So now you can see that it's a lot bigger, and it's just the size that I wanted. So I'm going to start making the crust. I usually just fold the edges and pat them down. And if you don't want to, you don't need to do this. The crust turned out pretty big, so you can also leave it as is, but I usually like a really nice crust that I can dip in different sauces, and it just makes it a lot better. It's such a fun thing to do. I love making this dough at home, and it feeds so many people. So here I am just going to roll all the edges. You can try to keep the circle Sometimes it gets a little bit messed up, but this is a pretty close circle. So these are all the veggies that I'm going to use. There's tomatoes, mushrooms, spinach, pepper, green pepper, onions that are already chopped. And then there's the sauces. You can use Prego sauce. I actually had a pizza sauce that I found later on. And then we have some jalapenos, some olives, tomatoes, and cheese. So I'm just going to start by cutting the tomatoes. You want to keep it like a pretty thin sliced. Mine's a little bit thicker here, but either works. I think it's better thin. You only really need one tomato depending on how much you want. I cut 2 but only ended up using 1. The mushrooms, I usually just like to chop them. Some people like it better if they're not chopped. You can also put that on top. And whatever other toppings you like. Something to watch out for is if it gets a little bit too watery, it can make the crust a little bit soggy. So if you're using more watery things like tomatoes or green peppers, just be careful with that. So now I'm going to preheat my oven to 500 degrees and I'm going to put it on convection bake so it's super not too soggy or anything like that. So now I'm going to add the sauce. And this is a pizza sauce that I had. You can also use Prego tomato sauce or you can make your own. They all taste really good. You can even add some oregano or any other spices that you want in the sauce and taste test it. So I'm just going to put it around the pizza. You can leave some space between the crust and the sauce, or you can put it on the entirety of the dough. So now I'm going to add some cheese. This is mozzarella cheese. I've even tried cheddar cheese and it still tastes pretty good, but mozzarella is still my favorite. As much cheese as you want. Now I cut up some veggies, so here are the tomatoes that I cut up before. I'm going to put on the tomatoes first. So be careful definitely about watery veggies again. If you want to extract some of the water, you can definitely sauté it beforehand. The pizza still turned out good, but it's always a good thing to do, especially if you're going to put peppers and such. I'm going to put some olives on my family side because I don't want the olives. And now I'm going to add some green peppers. I chop them up smaller, or you can chop them long, however you like it. If you want, you can also press it down just so it gets really close to the sauce and it isn't falling everywhere. Also, a quick tip. If you don't want the dough to stick too much to the aluminum or to the pan, you can put some cornmeal. I actually went back and put some cornmeal on the bottom before topping the pizza. You can also put some flour at the bottom of the dough. I'm going to put some chopped red onion. You can use white onion. I really like the flavor of onion on pizza. And now I'm going to add some spinach. And it looks like a lot, but a lot of this is going to wilt later. So you can put a ton on there if you want. So now that all the toppings are on there, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the oven at 500 degrees on convection bake. And this baked for 7 to 10 minutes. And now you can see the final product. It turned out so good and really tasty. The crust is super soft and it's great to share with your family. I hope you all try this at home and enjoy. Thanks for watching.